Hey, what's going on, guys? Mock draft time. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while now, waiting for the offseason news to come in, teams addressing their needs, and I'm excited to get in this one. A lot of teams' needs have changed. The order has also changed. So let's just hop right into it. The Jaguars paid a ton of money. I think it was around like 200 million or just under that for their whole entire free agency pool. They did franchise tag Cam Robinson though, and looking at all of the factors, it seems like Aiden Hutchinson, as of now, is going to go one if they don't go inside and sign like Trent Richardson or something. I think that maybe right tackle is in play, and then Evan Neal goes to right tackle, swings over to left tackle once the franchise tag ends. So that's going to be interesting to see. The Lions, I'm pretty sure the Lions did not make a move for edge rusher, and I think that they should be looking for or are hoping for Aiden Hutchinson at 2, and this is between Kyle Hamilton. They don't need offensive tackle. They went with Penei Sewell, and they have Taylor Decker. So I think their offensive tackle situation is settled. They're probably going to cut Trey Flowers if they haven't already. So this makes me think that they're probably going to go with edge, and it's either going to be Thibodeau, Trayvon Walker. So let's go with Thibodeau. The Texans. The Texans signed so many people. I think they signed over like 10 people, and it's been 3. Yeah, they signed way over 10 people. I'm looking at it now. It looks like they've signed so many linebackers. But anyways, they lost Jacob Martin to the Jets, and they didn't really sign any big edge rushers. So this is interesting to see whether they go with an edge rusher, whether they go with safety, if they want to go with Evan Neal. Laramie Tunsil is staying though, so this makes me go against probably Evan Neal. So I would say more something like Kyle Hamilton, build up that defense. The Jets at 4. The Jets signed Laken Tomlinson, so I think that eliminates Ike Mekwonu and Evan Neal. In this mock draft, they are going to fall just because I have 2 edge rushers going top 2. And since they signed Laken Tomlinson, no right guard is not needed. Ike Mekwonu doesn't need to move in. There is still a chance if they want to have, or if they need to move on from Mekhi Becton, or if they want to move on from George Fant after this year because his contract will end. But all the signs are pointing to edge rusher, and I know that there's been a lot of hype around Trayvon Walker, but he's insanely athletic. He runs a 5. It was like a 5 sub 4.5, something around that. And he had awesome splits, and he's going to be doing linebacker drills at his pro day. So I think that Evan Walker even becomes the first Georgia player off the board, even though he was probably the least productive player out of all the Georgia players that are going to get picked. The Giants got blessed in this one. They're going to get Evan Neal or Ike Mekwonu, whichever one they want. They could even double up at offensive tackle at this point. But I think Carolina, I really don't think that they should get Deshaun Watson. They're going to probably ruin their future because they're going to have to give up somebody like on their team. They're going to have to give up like Brian Burns or someone. So I'm going to go with Ike Mekwonu, and probably are going to have to draft a quarterback next year. The Giants at 7, probably edge. Look, it's a strong edge class. I believe that they should go with offensive tackle, and then edge. You can intertwine those. I'm gonna go with Jermaine Johnson. The Falcons. You know what? I don't believe that they're even gonna have this pick. I think that they're in the front running for Deshaun Watson. Kyle Pitts tweeted out "Scary Hour season." So I think that they're not even going to have this pick. So, but I'm still going to pick one anyways. So you lose Russell Gage. Calvin Ridley's out for a year. So what are you going to do? I would go with a receiver. I think that if the top 4 edge rushers fall, then you got to go with receiver here. The Seahawks are up. They could go with Charles Cross. They could go with quarterback with Malik Willis. But they do have Drew Lock for 1 year, and I think that they should wait and maybe even tank. Edge rusher David Ajabo is still on the board. but I would go with their first need in Charles Cross. You're losing Dwayne Brown. I don't think he's going to re-sign. So you basically have no offensive line. The Jets at 10. This is BPA, PON, best player available at position of need. So you already picked edge rusher with Trayvon Walker. So do you want to go with Ahmed? Do you want to go with Sauce Gardner if he falls? Do you want to go with Jameson Williams? I'm in the belief of if Sauce Gardner somehow falls to 10, you just have to get him. Because there's no, I think there's possibly no way. I think he could go to the Falcons. I think he could go to the Seahawks. I think he could go to even the Panthers. I don't think he falls down to 10. But if there's any chance that Sauce Gardner ever falls down to 10, you're picking him. Regardless of receiver, because you can go with receiver in round 2 with guys like Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson. I believe that if the Jets, if Sauce Gardner is available at 10, the Jets should jump on that opportunity. Even though they did sign DJ Reed and they have Bryce Hall and they have Brandon Eccles and Michael Carter II is locking up the slot, you have to go with Sauce Gardner. Then you have 4 cornerbacks for the next 3 years. And Sauce Gardner is like 6'3", awesome length, really fast. So now the Commanders, they don't need quarterback anymore. They got Carson Wentz. So this is leading me to think that they're going to go with receiver, probably Jameson Williams. Teams have shown time and time again that they really are not really worried about ACL injuries. Chris Godwin just got a 3-year deal, a 3-year, $60 million deal. And similar with Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup also got a contract extension coming off of an ACL. The Vikings, best cornerback available, Derek Stingley. The Browns, they had a bit. Baker Mayfield had a weird IG story last night, and also they are out of the Deshaun Watson race. So I believe this pick will be here. I don't think you're bringing back Jadeveon Clowney, and I still think that they're involved in the receiver market, but I don't see receivers falling in this draft. So we're gonna go with Treylon Burks. The Ravens are funny story. As I'm making this video, the Ravens are no longer signing Zadarius Smith. He pulled out of his deal, so it's interesting to see where he goes. So that even opens up edge rusher in this spot, and they re-signed Marcus Peters. So they kind of have a lot. They kind of have a bit of needs. They did sign. Here, I'll try to find it. It was Morgan Moses. They signed Morgan Moses at tackle and Marcus Williams at safety. So safety's off, and offensive tackle I think is gone, but I wasn't really interested about that position. So it's either, what do you want to go with? Interior defensive line, Calais Campbell's aging, or do you want to go with edge rusher so you can pair one up with Odafe Owe? And you just lost Darius Smith, so I definitely see edge in the books here. The Eagles get us a lot of picks. I possibly think that they might trade one of these. They could trade one for Danielle Hunter, even though I think that they can get him for a way cheaper deal. If they want to go with a receiver one like DK Metcalf, they could use one of these picks. So they have a lot of flexibility. They can even trade up. They could trade down. They have a lot. So for the first pick, I would go with BPA regardless of position, and that would be right here. That would be Trent McDuffie. 16, I would address your second need, which is got to be receiver. Someone like Drake London is my receiver 3, and I think he could rise up boards if he does really well at his pro day. The Chargers, just Trevor Penning. I would go with the next offensive tackle. Trevor Penning can probably can play both tackle positions, and Rashawn Slater was an All-Pro. So that, and also the Chargers have had arguably one of the best off seasons I've seen in a long time. They got so many guys. They got J.C. Jackson. They got Khalil Mack. They got they re-signed Mike Williams. They did a lot. And I really like their moves, and I think that they're making a strong position to be one of the top the top contenders in the AFC next year. And wow, the AFC West is going to be scary. But moving on to the Saints. The Saints are right now the front runners to get Deshaun Watson, but they would have to give up quite a bit. And also, they somehow restructured like $60 million 2 years in a row. So, receiver, offensive tackle, quarterback. if they don't get Deshaun Watson, I think that the Falcons right now are in a big time running. So I'm gonna just say that they don't get Jameson Williams back, and they go with quarterback Malik Willis. We're just gonna have a little fun over here. The Eagles with their last pick is got to be edge. Got to be edge. We're gonna go with George Karlaftis. They did sign Hassan Reddick, and they do have Josh Sweat, who they just signed for around like $10 million. That was within the middle of the season, but edge is still, it's always a need, and they run similar personnel to like the Jets and the 49ers a little bit, where they always rotate in defensive linemen and offensive linemen. 20, the Steelers. This is protecting Mitch Kissantitties. Mike Pouncey is likely going to be gone, so you're going to go with Tyler Linderbaum. I would go with Tyler Linderbaum here. You always need a strong center. You need to be good at the center position. If I'm not mistaken, Pouncey is gone. The Patriots, linebacker or cornerback, whichever one you think is the best at this position right now. I would go with which one's more Patriot? Let's go with Devin Lloyd. This has got better size. I think the Patriots would want to draft him. Raiders, Jordan Davis. Interior offensive line, interior defensive line. Can't be upset with Jordan Davis. Probably one of the best athletes. I can see him going way ahead. I can see him going so much farther ahead, but nothing in this draft is really set in stone yet. It's kind of a very confusing draft, especially due to the quarterbacks being so weak. That usually helps with the order. The Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't signed a cornerback. I'll go check that right now. But I think yes. Nope, they haven't re-signed corner, so I think that corner should be addressed in the draft. The Cowboys, they must have fumbled the bag or something on that. Oh, Randy Gregory. They must have done something wrong with the Randy Gregory. They must have just offered him either a terrible contract, backed out at the last second, but they re-signed DeMarcus Lawrence. They got back Donald Schultz, and they also got Michael Gallup. I just don't think they're going to draft receiver here. So it's interesting to see what they do. And for me, it's got to be Deontay Wyatt or interior offensive line. So I would probably go with... I would go with Deontay Wyatt here. You can't really be mad about Deontay Wyatt. Also an excellent athlete. The Buffalo Bills, they made a splash signing. I made a video about it. Von Miller, 6 years, $120 million deal. 6-year contract is a little long, it's really long for Von Miller, who's already 32 and who's going to play through that contract until he's 38. But in the short term, it's excellent because the Bills are trying to be contenders. So I think that removes edge off their board and moves it to interior defensive tackle or interior offensive tackle, because I know they signed Roger Saffold, but Roger Saffold not good in pass pro, and they did re-sign Mitch Morse, but I'm wondering who's going to be on the other edge. And also Roger Saffold only signed a 1-year deal. So let's go with Zion Johnson. I think that's the best case scenario that one of the really good offensive linemen falls to them. Julio Jones, as of making this video, got released by the Titans earlier this morning, and they re-signed why am I forgetting his name? Harold Landry to a massive deal, and they did sign they just been re-signing offensive linemen. So in the draft, I would see them going with receiver. They of course have AJ Brown, but they just cut Julio Jones, who they traded a 2nd-round pick for. That's kind of an L. Tampa Bay bringing back Tom Brady, bringing back Chris Godwin, and also they're getting Brashad Perriman back. They also signed Russell Gage, so I don't see receiver on need. Carlton Davis is coming back, but they did lose Jordan Whitehead to the Jets. They did re-sign Ryan Jensen, so I would see them probably maybe taking interior offensive line with Kenyon Green. Green Bay Packers, you brought back Aaron Rodgers, but I think they're not going to get. You did have to cut Zadarius Smith, so I think that edge right now from the draft is their biggest need. Go with a guy like Boye Mafe, excellent Senior Bowl player. The Dolphins, they've just been signing some low deal free agents. They just running back, thank God, in Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds. But the receiver signings have just been like all quick guys. Cedric Wilson is getting a big deal for a receiver 3 in like $22 million. So I still think their receiver 1's an issue. And why wouldn't you settle that with Christian Watson, who runs like a monster and who's 6'4"? The Chiefs, I'm pretty sure they haven't made any big signings because they've just been down in the cap room. They of course franchise tagged Orlando Brown. They got Frank Clark got a new deal, and they signed Justin Reed. They did lose Tyrann Mathieu though, so I see them addressing safety in the second round. But they did get Justin Reed though. They also lost Tre'Davious Ward, so I can see them going with cornerback. Someone like Kyer Elam. The Bengals, I've been saying this all year. And as I'm making this video, if you guys have sticked around, Baker Mayfield has requested a trade. So that's interesting. I don't know where they're going to go with that. Anyways, the Bengals, they did get Alex Kappa. That ended up being one of their first contracts signed. And they franchise tagged Jesse Bates. I see them re-signing him. And they also got B.J. Hill to a 3-year, $30 million deal. Oh, man, that Baker thing. Anyways, I think if they can't sign Teron Armstead, then you got to try to go with offensive tackle here, Bernard Raymond. With the Lions, if Kenny Pickett falls to 32, I think you try to have a competition with Jared Goff and then cut him after this year. So, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you let me know, or give me your thoughts about this mock draft. Let me know your favorite offseason signings, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.